so they are driven. Now there's a word in the universe, in the galaxy, in the solar system that is used in astrology. It is a metaphor. The word is yod or yod, Y-O-D. In astrology, it is an alignment of three things that is unique and special, that doesn't happen very often, that creates an energy of those born with that to be pushed and focused in an unreasonable way. They live and breathe what they think they need to do. And it comes from the Akash. It doesn't happen, dear ones, just because you're born. It happens slowly because you go into realization. You realize it. And this means that is unrealized becomes realized. It goes from the non-existent to the existent with conscious decision. In other words, if you choose not to accept some of these things, they'll never occur to you. But once you start the path of examination, they'll capture you in a good way and push you so hard that everything you do is about one thing. The category like this of Akashic entangled old souls are those who are pushed to do work. Some are channelers, some are authors, some are writers, some are speakers. And their lives are not normal. All that they do in their waking hours is think about why they're here. They'll push themselves and appropriately understand the health issues they have, going to a place that is a goal till the day they take their last breath about one thing, whatever it is, singular, focused, pushed, and beautiful, because they get a lot done. Now there is a tendency. No, there's not a tendency. There's a bias. No. There's a way of thinking that looks at them and says, oh, look at that, I should do that. And this is what we want to talk about. That's one of 5 things in the ring, all supportive of each other. There must be those who have an entangled Akash in order to push this new energy forward as they do. It has to be. My partner knows this, and he's seen himself change. He now realizes this is all he's going to do. He realizes he's never going to retire. Somehow, that would be a betrayal of the Akash that says he's going to push until it's over. And he's got others just like him. That's all they want to do. They see the beauty and the splendor of the other side of the veil, and all they can do is show it and show it and show it. Tell about it, write about it. Be it. That's all they want to do. One of 5 kinds of purpose, you might say. It's not a mission. Don't use the word mission. Suddenly you're on a military mission. It's not this. It's entanglement with all it is that is sacred and spiritual and Akashic. He's done this before. That's Akashic entanglement. He is comfortable with it now. And it's all he wants to do. That's number 1. What is a 1 in numerology? It is new beginnings. That is the whole purpose of those who are pushed by Akashic entanglement. They're so focused. Everything they do, everywhere they go, it's a beginning. They don't end anything. It's never complete. It's always new. Number one. Number two is similar. Partially entangled Akash. Ones who don't have quite the push, but they still feel as though they do. But they're a little more relaxed with it. It's okay to retire. They feel they have a purpose on the planet. Now these, number two, deal with duality, and they deal with the human body. They are the healers. They are the ones who are looking for solutions that'll support number one. Because number one tends to overdo it. He needs number two to heal. They're system workers. They've got it figured out. They come up with the systems that help humanity. They're focused too. They've got a partially entangled Akash. They can remember, they've been healers before. They can remember the systems that they're working on they've used before. They are so sure of it. They want to write about it. They want to teach about it. It's so obvious. Layers and phases. And what it does is it ends up being a piece of the puzzle of the whole. But specifically, it helps number one. It's a support group for humanity and number one. Number one would push themselves without eating, unless they had somebody to tell them to eat. Number two would develop what to eat. There is a beautiful system of helping. It's like a Swiss clock where one notch fits in the other. The thing that ties these together, and I'm telling you even before I give you the rest of them, the thing that ties all this together is synchronicity. When I'm done and finished today, I will have given you 5 types. It's a tendency for you to say, which type am I? Did I tell you you could be 2 or 3 of the same? Did I tell you there's a crossover? Did I tell you there are gray areas? Did I tell you it was quantum? Don't try to fit yourself into these. Just know they exist, and they will fit to some degree. But understand this. Some of you have already experienced the synchronicity of being here, of listening, and understand you're part of the mechanism of this beautiful clock that moves around in your own time and fits. One fits to the other because you all support one another. Just wait till I tell you about number 3. 3 is the catalytic number. It moves things. The very existence of number 3 is catalytic to anything that comes in contact with it. A catalyst is something that stays the same but changes what it comes in contact with. I'll tell you who these are. These are the meditators of the planet. And their Akash, their Akash is so comfortable because they can sit and meditate for days and they will come out refreshed. They will sit in one position. What are they doing? I'll tell you what they're doing. They're holding the energy of all the others together because their consciousness is steady. It's quiet. It's beautiful. It sets a stage that all the others feel. I want to tell you about this clock, this ring, that when number 1 comes to frustration, number 3 is part of him. He feels number 3. The meditative side is not part of number 1 at all. Push, push, go. And number 3 then takes it to another level. In a quantum way, shares it with number 1 and number 2. And they have peace and they relax and they know all is well. Because number 3 is here doing their job. Number 3 has had lifetimes of being monks all over the planet to sit and just be. There is so much power there. And as a light worker, have you ever, my partner listened to this, have you ever looked at number 3 and said, how can they do that? It's not for me. They just sit there. Now you know. They just sit there and steady the planet. They steady all of the other numbers because they absorb them in such a way. Now, I didn't say they were grounders, did I? That's coming. They're meditators. They create a peaceful countenance, and they're catalytic. Whatever comes their way is more peaceful because of it. You got some here. You can just tell who they are. Number 1 and number 2 need number 3 desperately. But number 3 also needs number 1 and number 2 because just sitting there doesn't accomplish what number 1 will do. Are you starting to understand the circle? Does it make sense to you that there would be a system where old souls do different things for this planet to make it work? Not all in one uniform, not in all one gender, not all in one doctrine or belief system, not bowing a certain way or doing the same thing, not singing the same song. Totally, completely unique and different and fitting together like a fine Swiss clock. Number 4. What do you think number 4 is? If you've been numerologically educated, number 4 is the Gaia number. Have you ever heard me tell you before that Gaia is related to human consciousness? That what happens that you call the planet Earth is connected to you profoundly. If you ask the ancestors, the ancients, it's the first thing they knew. It had to be Gaia. There was no technology. Gaia gave them their food in certain ways, the weather. All of these things, that was the most important thing they had, Gaia. You've lost that. The connection is not as important, but it is. Let me tell you about number 4. Some of them don't even know they're light workers. They just know they're connected to the earth. But they're passionately connected to the earth. You can't pry them off a tree when they're hugging it. They need to be part of Gaia all the time. Question: dear Kryon, you're going to give us these phases, these parts, these compartments. Can someone change one compartment and be in the next compartment in one lifetime? Humans, why do you do this? Yes, you can do whatever you want to. Now, I want you to think about that. Can a number 3 become a number 4? Can number 5, which you've never even heard of, become a number 1? The system is in a circle. Of course you can. There are ways for you to pick up energies, to learn things, to move around. So it is dynamic. And that's the other thing that you're not going to carry around with you. As soon as I itemize something and you put yourself in there, it's forever. It isn't. Like you get in a box and shut the door. No. You're part of the circle. You move with it. You know who number 4 is also? An animal whisperer.